Kia ora, and thank you and welcome to Light Lunch. Today we are joined by Tess and Jane. Now, Tess is one of our Next Gen Award finalists, and Jane is the winner of our Innovation Award, thanks to James Hardy, at the New Zealand Building People Awards. So I will let them introduce themselves. Tess, you for it first.
Hi, I'm Tess. I'm currently a student at the University of Auckland. I've just done my fourth year, so I'm in my master's and I'm going into my thesis next year.
Amazing. And Jane.
Kia ora, I'm Jujnovich. I won my award, luckily, for being project director of a redevelopment called Te Matawai in Auckland, 276 apartments and 3,000 square meters of shared retail and commercial space.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, we are going to hear about some things keeping you both awake at night. Jane, we're going to start with something from you.
Sure. So I think probably for me, the thing that was really keeping me awake at night, since finishing Te Matawai, I've moved over into delivery transformation for Kāinga Ora. And so I spend most of my time now thinking about how do we do urban development and how we might do urban development in the future and improve it. So how would we be able to move quicker, get more for our money while ensuring great outcomes? So that's probably where most of my sleepless nights are at the moment.
I imagine so. I would, yeah, that might keep me up tonight. Tess? Tess, something from you?
Yes. Sorry, my internet cuts out a little bit. Well, I am a master's student, so I'd say that there's not a lot of sleep going on anyway. Um, so yeah, a lot of my sleepless nights just come from uni. I'm usually up doing renders and details, and it's fun.
At least
But I'd say that what really keeps me up at night is probably my thesis proposal. I've been really struggling with it actually because I just find too many topics too interesting. So having to narrow it down and spend a whole year on something is really difficult. You know, there's so much scope of what you can do. So yeah, that's definitely been
when do you
keeping me
have
up
to
at night.
decide that?
We've got about 2 days left really
Oh,
to
okay, cool. Cool.
supervise it. Yeah, I think
Good
I've got it
luck,
narrowed
no
down now.
sleeping.
Yeah.
And
But yeah,
Jane,
no, so it's all exciting stuff.
and Jane, what about you? Something else keeping you awake at night?
So I don't know if it keeps me awake at night, but one of my little pet projects, like I really want to inspire young women to get into construction. It was one of our sort of pet projects in Te Matawai. We had so many great talented women working across Te Matawai, and we did a whole lot of work with Auckland Girls Grammar about inspiring the next generation. So I don't know if it keeps me up at night, but it's something that I really want to keep working on and pushing because I think historically it hasn't been a really sexy industry to get into for women.
Absolutely,
yeah, I think that's something that I'm really passionate about.
Well, definitely feel free to reach out because we are always looking for ways to do that in any way that we can help you do that or both of you do that. We would love to be involved on that journey as well. And something from you, Tess, keeping you awake at night?
Honestly, it's really just uni. That's all I really do. I sleep soundlessly otherwise.
Oh, that is
Soundly, sorry.
very good. Yeah, very, very nice. All right, we'll jump back to Jane if you've got anything else that.
I mean, look, working for Kāinga Ora, I think everyone that works for Kāinga Ora wants to build more houses more quickly to get people into homes. So how do we do that as an organisation? How do we make sure that we, are doing things as quickly as possible to be able to house people off the wait list? I think for anyone that works at Kāinga Ora, that's what we do and that's what we're passionate about.
Yeah, good. Well, yeah, you need to be right to work there, and yeah, it's a lot. All right, well, we might jump into our quick fire questions. What is something you've been reading, listening, or watching? Tess. Something fun, not uni related at all.
Okay, well, I mean, it's still architecture related because I feel like it's my whole life. But so there's an app that my flatmate actually introduced me to called Shelter, and it basically is just like a streaming platform that hosts a lot of different architectural videos. And so I've only been watching it recently, but honestly, it's amazing. There's so much good stuff on there. Yeah, some of the videos are just a few minutes and some of them are up to like an hour and a bit. And we
Oh,
just watch it
wow.
while we eat dinner. It's really good.
Is it just like on like the houses being like buildings being built, or
There's honestly
just
everything. There's different styles of houses. They do deep dives into different architects. They honestly,
cool?
it's everything. It's like a YouTube but just for architecture. So I've been getting into that, but it's a recent thing, so I haven't watched too much.
Oh, I actually think I might be quite into that.
Yeah, it's
I'll
really good. And all of
report
the stuff's
that.
really well made.
That sounds very cool.
Very cool. What about you, Jane? Something reading, listening, watching, or both? All?
So in terms of watching, we've just finished watching the second series of After Party. I don't. It's like a series which takes you through a mystery, and every episode is taken from different person's point of view, and every episode is a different genre.
Ah,
Hilarious. And my husband and I watched it first, and then we're like, the kids are going to love this, so we watched the whole series again with the kids, and they love it. And
can you
so
tell us where to find that?
that is on Apple TV.
Oh,
And
I think I need a new app.
yeah,
Subscription.
it's hilarious. Like, and my kids are always like making quotes out of it and stuff now. It's super fun.
Oh,
Yeah. And in terms of reading, I'm currently reading all the Thursday Murder Club books, which are written by Richard Osborne. Again, they're super funny about the sort of these doddery old pensioners that keep getting caught up in like drug deals and murders and stuff.
oh wow, interesting.
And accidentally solve them. Yeah, and they're also pretty funny.
Oh, sounds good. All right. Now, Tess,
Mhm.
I know that you talked about this a lot in your application for your Next Gen Award application. And so can you tell us a little bit about the stuff that you do for your well-being?
I can. I've actually added to that list now. So
Good. We like
yeah, I
that.
know. I feel like I do so much, but the current go-to is actually yoga. I started that a couple months ago. And honestly, when I kind of got into it, I was like, oh, surely this can't help that much. But honestly,
Yes.
it helps so much. I love yoga. I can't
It's even just that
good things.
focusing just on that for 1 hour, which like, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You can
Have
clear
you
your mind all
tried
that.
have you tried hot yoga?
No, but I want to. It
It's-
sounds great, but it sounds really hard.
It's next level. I suggest not doing it in the morning because you're really dehydrated. So it's more of an afternoon thing.
Fair enough. Okay, I'll definitely have to give that a go.
But yeah, it's a great thing for your mental health. And I know you had lots of other bits and pieces that you do, like hanging out with family and all that kind of stuff. I was actually just reading your thing before we came on here to get some tips.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
really good. And what about you, Jane? What's the things that you do for your mental health?
Yeah, a bit like Tess, I like to start the day at the gym, and it's my time, and it's before the rest of the household are up, so I get to spend a bit of time for myself. I think the other thing I really try and do is separate out work with life. Like I use my drive home as a time for me to actually sort of close out my day in my head, and so that when I'm home, I'm there and I'm present with my family, for the children to start asking 1,000 questions as I walk in the door. And then I love a glass of wine, sitting in the sun, hanging out with family and friends. So for me, most weekends I'm doing that, which I think is super. Like the wine's probably not that healthy, but it's super important for your mental health, I think, to be able to do that type of stuff.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I feel like a glass of wine's fine, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe just not.
Maybe not. All right, Tess, what is your motto?
I'd say life has no remote. You have to get up and change it yourself. I think that's a good one.
I like that.
That is so good. I've not heard anything like that one before. That's really, really cool.
I thought it was great, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, nice. And Jane, what about you?
I think for me, I sort of people and outcomes should come first, and particularly if you think about our industry. And what I really try to do at Tomato Y is think about who is going to live in the building, what do they need, communal spaces as we move to medium and high density. Really important that we have great shared communal spaces that people are actually inspired and want to use. So actually thinking about people, what are the outcomes we want, and how do we design a building that meets those outcomes, I think, for me.
Yeah, nice. Okay. That was a very long motto, but I understand.
Outcomes first is the motto.
There we go. There we go. There was a good explanation. All right, and we are going to hear about pieces of advice for the next generation. So what would you say, Tess?
I'd say that it's okay to not know what you're doing. And I think that this leads into a lot of different aspects of life. Like we're all just trying to work it out together. No one really knows what they're doing at the start. And I'd say specifically, when I went into architecture, I didn't go straight from high school into architecture. I did some other things first. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I feel like there was so much pressure to decide what you want to do so early on. And it's okay to not know, and it's okay to try things and realize that that's not for you because you will find something eventually. And and honestly, this goes into a lot of different aspects. Like, we are all just working things out together. Even in the architecture field, no one knows everything, and you've kind of just got to do your best and learn as you go, work together with your peers.
Absolutely. Great, great advice. And Jane, what about you? Advice for the next generation?
I think I'd say be bold, and what I mean by that is like actually take every opportunity you can find. Like a lot of my career, I've fallen into things because I've taken the opportunity. Like even if it doesn't seem related at all, take up that opportunity, learn something new, and then you realize, oh, actually, I really enjoyed that, or no, that wasn't for me. So be confident, be bold, take up every opportunity you can, and then who knows where you'll end up.
Yeah, it's great advice, work-wise and home life, just everything, isn't it? Yeah, take up. Be a yes person.
Yeah, 100%.
I like
Yeah,
that.
Who knows, you end up in Europe backpacking around, or that's certainly where I ended up for a few years.
how good. Yes,
Yeah.
and Tess was talking about possibly going and doing some travel. So
Absolutely,
be
yeah.
bold, Tess, be bold.
I will.
Yeah.
And good luck choosing your topic.
Thank you. Yep,
Yeah.
I've narrowed it down.
Maybe it's like pulling out of a hat, and then like if you're disappointed with one, you just move on to the other one, and then you've got your answer, right?
I think that's
Be
basically it. That's a
bold.
really good way to do it, actually. Yeah.
Be bold, be bold.
Who knows where you'll end up.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being on today's episode of Light Lunch. And hopefully you're going to see these two, or actually hear these two on a podcast shortly, our Tall Stories podcast. We're going to do a recording up in Auckland next year with these two lovely ladies, maybe separate, but yeah. Awesome. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
So yeah.